picture this. You wake up, your eyes are barely open.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. And your hand is already reaching out in the dark.
Just like feeling around for that phone.
Exactly. Before your feet even touch the floor, you're, looking at the news, you're checking your emails, you're scrolling through social media.
And suddenly your brain just feels incredibly noisy.
Yes. It's loud, you feel stressed, and the day hasn't even officially started yet.
It's probably the most common way people wake up these days. But honestly, it's a huge trap.
A trap? How so?
Well, when you look at your phone immediately, you're instantly reacting to other people's demands.
Oh,
you're reacting to the world's problems. It creates this immediate sense of panic before you've even had a chance to just breathe.
That is such a good point. You're starting your day on defense instead of offense.
Exactly.
Well, today we are going to look at the exact opposite of that morning panic.
You certainly are.
We're talking about having a secret superpower, one that keeps you energized, keeps you calm, and puts you completely in control of your day.
I love that.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a really fascinating stack of sources today, all focused on the incredible power of daily routines.
And what really stands out about our source material today is the specific goal behind these routines.
Right.
These sources are designed around using daily habits to master a new skill. In this specific case, the focus is on learning the English language.
But, even if you aren't trying to learn English right now, stick with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Because as we read through this information, it became very clear that these principles apply to absolutely anyone.
Anyone trying to organize their life, reduce stress, or reach any kind of long-term goal.
Right. But before we get into the actual steps, I have to confess something.
Uh-oh. What is it?
The word routine often sounds a little bit boring.
I hear that a lot, actually. People hear the word routine, and they imagine living like a robot.
Yeah, just doing chores all day.
Just beep boop, doing the exact same thing.
So let's unpack this right away. If a routine is just doing the exact same thing over and over again, how does that actually help us learn or grow?
That's a very fair concern.
Doesn't it just put us on autopilot where our brain's just like, stop paying attention to life?
Well, what the research in our sources shows is that this repetition is the exact mechanism that allows your brain to absorb new information.
Wait, really? The repetition helps you learn?
Think about it this way. Your brain has a limited amount of energy every day.
Okay.
When you don't have a routine, your brain uses up a ton of that energy just making basic decisions.
Like, should I study now?
Exactly. Should I exercise? What should I eat for breakfast?
Oh, I see.
By doing the same thing at the same time every day, you completely remove decision fatigue.
Wow.
You're putting the boring stuff on autopilot so you can save all your mental energy for the actual learning.
That makes a lot of sense. You're clearing out the junk so you have room for the important stuff.
Precisely. Saving mental energy is the key.
So to understand how to actually harness this superpower, we have to look at how a day begins.
Yes, the morning is crucial.
The sources make it very clear that the very first action of the morning sets the trajectory for the entire rest of the day.
It really does. Because if you start with that noisy brain from checking your phone,
the panic we talked about,
right, that noise follows you right into the afternoon. That's why the alternative proposed in our sources is so powerful.
And this alternative is a 30-minute, completely screen-free sequence right after you wake up.
30 whole minutes.
Not even a quick glance at a text message.
No screens at all. You have to give your brain half an hour to wake up on its own terms.
Okay, so if we aren't looking at our phones, what are we doing for those 30 minutes?
According to the source, the sequence is actually pretty simple.
First, you drink a large glass of water.
Yes.
Then you make your bed.
Right.
After that, you do 5 minutes of light stretching. And finally, you sit down with a pen and paper to write out 3 things you're thankful for.
And only after you do all of that do you go make your coffee or breakfast.
It sounds so peaceful.
It is. And if we look closely at this sequence, every single step has a specific biological or psychological purpose.
Oh, like what?
Well, you've been sleeping for 8 hours, right? So your body is dehydrated.
So the water fixes that immediately.
Exactly. Then the physical stretching wakes up your muscles and gets your blood flowing.
Makes sense.
And the gratitude practice, writing down 3 things you are thankful for, that forces your brain to focus on the positive.
It's like building a shield of calm.
That's a great way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
A shield of calm before the stress of the outside world can reach you.
I understand the water and the stretching, But I want to focus on the bed making for a second.
Okay, sure.
The source calls making the bed a small win that makes you feel in control.
Yes, it's a very famous concept.
I've always wondered about this. Why does such a tiny, simple chore, like literally just pulling a blanket over a mattress, change our mental state so much?
It really comes down to proving to yourself that you are capable of getting things done.
Oh, I see.
When you make your bed, you've successfully completed the very first task of your day. But more importantly, it's a visual reminder of order.
You took a messy, chaotic space and you made it neat.
Exactly. And that small feeling of success gives your brain a little hit of dopamine.
Dopamine, right, the reward chemical.
Yes. That confidence naturally pushes you to tackle the next task and then the next one.
I like that. You conquer the bed, so your brain naturally looks for the next thing to conquer.
Which the research points out is usually the body.
Yes, the sources emphasize that the next step in the morning should be some form of physical exercise.
Keeping the body moving.
The course mentions going for a run at 7 in the morning, but it also adds a really realistic detail.
What's that?
It says if it's raining outside or you just don't have time, simply doing some push-ups at home works too.
That's vital. The main goal isn't to become an Olympic athlete.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is just to wake the body up. Because if you don't get your heart rate up in the morning, you end up feeling tired and heavy all day long.
You just kind of drag your feet.
Yeah. That's because physical movement signals to your nervous system that the sleep cycle is officially over.
Oh, it flips a switch.
It really does.
Yeah.
It generates the physical energy you're going to need for the cognitive tasks ahead.
Because you can't ask your brain to learn a new language if your body still thinks it's time to sleep.
Exactly.
Which brings us nicely to the specific English routine mentioned in the material.
This is such a great part of the source.
It is incredibly practical. So while you're getting dressed and making that morning coffee, you engage in something the source calls passive listening.
Yes.
You just spend 15 minutes listening to an English audio track in the background.
While you're just walking around the kitchen.
Right. And then you open a vocabulary app and check just 5 new words.
Just 5. The math behind that small effort is really what's fascinating here.
5 words a day might sound way too simple if your goal is fluency.
But think about it. That adds up to 35 new words a week.
Wow.
That's over 140 words a month.
And you're doing it without even trying very hard.
Exactly.
I mean, you're already making coffee anyway, right? You're just adding the audio to the background.
This perfectly reinforces the core idea of the material. A good routine is about taking small, manageable steps.
Not huge, exhausting leaps.
Right. It's not about big jumps that leave you burned out.
Yeah.
You set up the routine, and then you let the routine do the heavy lifting for you.
Okay, so let's say our morning has gone beautifully.
Perfect morning.
We drank our water, our bed is made, we did our push-ups, and we know 5 new English words.
We're feeling great.
We feel amazing. But
bet.
then we start our workday.
Ah, yes. The workday.
And for so many of us, that beautiful morning momentum crashes right into a massive wall around, say, 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
The midday wall. It's a very real physiological response.
I know, I hit a wall where my brain just refuses to read another email.
Well, the sources are very clear about the danger of sitting at a desk for hours on end.
Your back starts to ache.
Your posture gets terrible.
And your brain, as the source so perfectly describes it, starts to feel like a frozen computer.
A frozen computer.
Yeah.
That is a highly accurate description of what happens to our attention spans.
Really? Why does that happen?
Well, think about our evolutionary history. Our eyes and brains were designed to look out at the horizon, right?
Just scanning different distances, looking for tigers or whatever.
Exactly. But now we stare at a flat, two-dimensional screen sitting exactly 2 feet away from our faces.
For hours and hours at a time.
And our cognitive processes slow down under that unnatural strain. We become incredibly inefficient, even if we feel like we're working really hard.
We're just spinning our wheels.
Yes. And this is exactly where a midday intervention is required to keep your brain working properly.
And the intervention recommended in the source is something called the Pomodoro technique.
A classic. But it's famous because it works.
Fun fact from the source, actually. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian.
I love that fact.
Apparently, the creator of the technique originally used a kitchen timer that was shaped like a little red tomato.
It's a great visual detail.
Yeah.
But the mechanics of the technique are what we really care about.
Right. So the rules of the Pomodoro technique are simple. You work with intense focus for 25 minutes.
Intense focus.
And then you follow it immediately with a 5-minute break.
But There is a crucial rule for that 5-minute break that most people get wrong.
Oh, what's the rule?
The break must involve standing up, walking around, or looking out a window.
Okay.
And absolutely under no circumstances are you allowed to look at another screen.
So checking social media on your phone does not count as a break.
It absolutely does not count.
I have to push back on this a little bit, though.
Sure.
I understand the need to step away from the work. But is 5 minutes really enough time to fix a frozen computer brain?
It sounds short.
Right. If I've been stressed out writing reports for 4 hours, a 5-minute walk to the window seems way too short to make a real difference.
It's a very common doubt. It sounds too brief to matter. But the science of the technique shows that the break is less about the length of time and much more about breaking your visual and mental fixation.
Visual fixation, what do you mean by that?
When you stare at a computer, your eyes are locked at that specific short distance we talked about.
The 2 feet away distance.
Right. And your brain is locked into a highly focused, stressful type of problem solving. By simply standing up and looking out a window at a tree across the street, you instantly change your visual depth of field.
You're looking far away again.
Exactly. Your eye muscles literally relax, you let your mind breathe, and you step away from the stress response.
Wow.
So those 5 minutes aren't meant to be a deep rest. They are a rapid system reboot.
A system reboot. Okay, that makes perfect sense. If my laptop freezes, I don't need to leave it turned off for 3 days to fix it.
Right.
I just need to cycle the power for 10 seconds to clear the memory.
That's the perfect analogy. You're just clearing the short-term memory of your brain so it can function smoothly again.
Okay, so just as a computer needs that quick restart during the day, it also needs a proper shutdown sequence at night.
Yes.
And here's where the source material gets really interesting. It points out that a successful morning routine doesn't actually start in the morning.
No, it begins the night before.
Which implies that your evening routine might actually be the most important part of the entire cycle.
If you ruin the evening, the morning is already lost.
But the evening is exactly where things usually go wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
The source describes a bad habit that is almost painfully relatable. You finish work, you're totally exhausted, so you collapse on the sofa.
Yeah.
You eat something heavy, like pizza.
And you watch 4 solid hours of television.
Exactly. We can all relate to that impulse. You want to reward yourself for a hard day.
Of course. But the problem isn't the television itself. The problem is the quantity and the timing.
Right. 4 hours of highly stimulating screen time.
Combined with heavy food. It leads directly to feeling sluggish and exhausted the next morning.
It destroys your morning routine before the sun even comes up.
Yes.
So to fix this, the source introduces a concept I absolutely love. It's called the digital sunset.
It's a very poetic term for a very biological process.
The rule of the digital sunset is that there are no screens and no blue light after 9 o'clock at night, period.
None at all.
Instead of watching a screen, you pick up a physical book.
Yes.
And the source notes that even just reading 2 pages is enough.
Just 2 pages.
Yeah, because the goal isn't necessarily to read a whole chapter. The goal is simply to relax your eyes and get away from the light.
That is so smart. The science behind the digital sunset is all about aligning your body with its natural circadian rhythms.
Your body's internal clock.
Exactly. The bright blue light coming from your phone or your TV basically tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime.
So your brain thinks the sun is still up.
Right. And that stops your body from producing melatonin, which is the hormone that helps you sleep.
Ah, I see.
By putting all the screens away at 9 p.m., you're sending a clear biological signal that the sun has gone down and it's time to power down the system.
But the evening routine isn't just about physically relaxing. It's also about mental planning.
Right.
The source talks about a strategy called choosing your one big thing.
This is a vital psychological tool for reducing stress.
So the idea is that at night, before you go to sleep, you look at your calendar or your notebook.
Okay.
And you choose the single task that absolutely must be done tomorrow.
Just one?
Just one. And you tell yourself if that one thing gets done, tomorrow is considered a successful day.
Yes. You make the decision at night so you don't have to waste mental energy deciding in the morning.
But I'm looking at my own life here, and I have a list of maybe 20 urgent things I need to do.
Work, family, house, chores.
Right. So isn't picking just one thing a bit like ignoring reality? It feels like I'm hiding from my actual responsibilities.
It might feel like you're hiding at first. But let's look at the alternative. When you wake up and look at a messy list of 20 urgent tasks, how do you usually feel?
Honestly, I feel terrified.
Exactly.
And I usually end up scrolling on my phone in bed because I feel so overwhelmed I don't even know where to start.
There it is. That's called task paralysis.
Task paralysis.
Yes. The fear of feeling overwhelmed often results in getting 0 things done.
Wow, that hits close to home.
Choosing the one big thing the night before isn't about ignoring the other 19 tasks.
Okay.
It's about giving your brain a safe, extremely clear starting line. You wake up knowing exactly what your priority is.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the magic of this strategy is that once you complete that one big thing, you usually feel such a wave of relief and confidence.
You feel like a winner.
Right. And that naturally moves you on to task number 2 and then task number 3. It breaks the paralysis.
Oh, wow. So the one thing isn't a limit. It's the key to unlock the rest of the list.
Precisely. You're managing your psychology, not just your time.
You just have to trick your brain into taking the first step.
Exactly.
So let's step back and look at what this all means for us.
Okay.
Knowing what routines to set, the morning water, the midday Pomodoro tomatoes, the evening digital sunset, that's the easy part.
Right. The knowledge is easy.
But keeping those routines going day after day is the real challenge.
It really is.
The source asks a very painful question. Why is it so incredibly easy to start a brand new routine on a Monday, but we completely give up by Thursday?
Oh, I've lived that cycle.
Yeah.
This brings us to the core mechanics of habit building. And the main reason we fail is entirely predictable.
Because we try to change too much of our lives all at once.
Exactly.
The source gives a great example of this trap. You decide you want to improve yourself, so you say, starting tomorrow, I'm going to completely change.
A whole new me.
I'll wake up at 5 in the morning, I'll run 10 kilometers, I'll eat only vegetables, and I'll study English grammar for 2 hours.
And by Tuesday afternoon, your body aches, your brain is exhausted, and you quit entirely.
It's like the analogy the source uses. Trying to make all those massive changes on day one is like trying to climb a mountain in flip-flops.
That is a perfect visual.
You are completely unprepared for the environment, you don't have the right equipment, and you're absolutely going to get hurt.
Yes. You lack the foundational habits to sustain that level of effort.
So the solution provided in the text is to start tiny.
Really, really tiny.
If you want to read more books, just commit to reading 1 single page a day.
Yep.
If you want to exercise, commit to exercising for exactly 1 minute.
What's really interesting here is the psychology behind starting so small.
How so?
Well, when you exercise for 1 minute, let's be honest, the physical benefit to your muscles is basically 0.
Right. 1 minute of jumping jacks isn't going to turn me into a marathon runner.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
Because the goal of that 1 minute isn't the workout itself. The goal is simply the act of showing up.
Oh, showing up.
You're training your brain to become the type of person who does the activity every single day. You are building the identity of someone who exercises, or the identity of someone who practices English.
That's profound. You're building the identity first, not the muscle.
Exactly. At least not in the beginning.
Because once your brain accepts that I'm a person who exercises every day, increasing the time from 1 minute to 20 minutes is actually quite easy.
The habit is already there. The foundation is poured.
Which leads perfectly into the next major principle from the source: consistency over intensity.
This is huge.
Doing something very small every single day is vastly superior to doing something huge once in a while.
And if we look at the language learning example from the text, this principle is crystal clear.
10 minutes of English study every day is much, much more effective than sitting down and studying for 5 hours once a month.
Right, because the daily 10 minutes keeps the vocabulary and the grammar rules fresh in your brain.
If you do 5 hours once a month, you're going to forget everything in the 29 days in between.
That's exactly how memory works. The brain needs regular, repeated exposure to build permanent neural pathways.
It's like walking through a forest.
Yes.
If you walk the same path every day, it becomes a clear trail.
But if you only walk it once a month, the grass grows back and the path disappears.
Okay, so we know we need to start tiny, and we know we need to be consistent.
Right.
But let's be practical. How do we make sure we actually remember to do our tiny 10-minute habit every day when life gets busy?
That's the real trick.
The source material offers a final brilliant strategy for this called habit stacking.
Habit stacking is incredibly effective because it doesn't require any extra motivation.
So is it kind of like making a daily checklist?
Not quite a checklist. Think of it more like a train.
A train.
Yeah. The concept is that you take a brand new habit that you want to start and you attach it directly to an old habit that you already do without thinking.
Okay.
The example in the text is brushing your teeth. Everybody brushes their teeth every morning.
Yeah.
That is a deeply established, automatic old habit.
Right. I don't need to set an alarm on my phone to remind me to brush my teeth. I just do it.
Exactly. So if you want to build a new habit, let's say, practicing your English pronunciation, you stack it.
You make a rule for yourself.
Right. Right after I put my toothbrush down, I will practice one English sentence out loud in the mirror.
Oh. You attach the new behavior to the reliable trigger of the old behavior.
Yes. Going back to your train idea, the old habit, brushing your teeth, is the heavy engine of the train.
It already has the power.
It's already moving down the tracks effortlessly. The new habit, the English practice, is just a passenger car hooked onto the back.
And the engine effortlessly pulls the new habit right along with it.
That's brilliant. You're just asking the new habit to catch a ride on the momentum you already have.
That's exactly how it works physically in the brain, too. The neural pathway for brushing your teeth is wide and fast. You're just using that same fast pathway for your new skill. So, to bring this all together for you listening, building a routine that actually changes your life isn't about making massive, exhausting changes that leave you feeling defeated and tired by Thursday.
Not at all.
It's about the gentle power of small wins. It's about taking 30 seconds to make your bed in the morning so you feel in control.
Yes.
It's about working in 25-minute Pomodoro chunks and looking out a window so your brain doesn't freeze.
Essential.
It's about closing your laptop and enjoying a beautiful digital sunset instead of staring at a screen until midnight.
And, most importantly, it's about stacking your tiny new habits onto the big engine of your old habits, like cars on a train.
Exactly. And especially if you're using these tools to learn a language, remember that finding just 10 minutes a day is the ultimate key to success.
You do not need to study for 5 hours.
You just need 10 minutes every day consistently.
But as we wrap up, looking at all these structured routines raises a really fascinating, much larger question for us to think about.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if we successfully stack all our habits, if our morning, our workday, and our evening are all perfectly engineered to run automatically like a train on tracks, what happens to our sense of spontaneity? Can perfectly engineering our daily routines eventually turn us into rigid robots who can't handle surprises?
That's a scary thought.
Or, on the flip side, does true freedom actually come from having these automatic habits handle all the boring daily chores, finally leaving our minds completely free and energetic enough to be truly creative?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Does the routine trap us, or does putting the boring stuff on autopilot actually set us free?
It's something to ponder.
I love that. Think about that as you go about your day. But until then, remember where we started.
You don't have to wake up to a noisy brain and a stressful morning.
You can choose to build your secret superpower, one tiny, 1-minute habit at a time.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's deep dive. We highly encourage you to look at your calendar tonight and pick your one big thing for tomorrow. We'll see you next time.